Out in the woods you'll find me, somewhere out under, yeah, fishing in a creek where there ain't nobody, no trespassing allowed. I live off the land with a pencil dip in.
Welcome to Nothing Finer in the Land. I'm your host, Rick Beach, along with Austin Island. Well, episode 10. Don't seem like it was that long ago, does it, Austin?
No, it don't. Time's flying.
Time's
Getting close to that season.
Man, we inside 100 days, man.
Yes, sir.
So right now is a SEC coaches meeting going on down in Destin. So about a month and a half, 2 months, SEC media days, then fall camp. I mean, season's right here on us.
It's on us. You can smell it.
Yeah.
Smell the heat.
You can smell it. You can feel the heat, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I think we got a pretty good show planned, so let's get right into it. Austin, I really want to talk about a coach addition that we made last season that's really benefited the position of wide receiver, the Cortez Hankton. And I think last year it was kind of underrated. And I know we had some talent with Miko, Godwin, and Riley Ridley. I mean, wasn't no doubt the talent was there. But I think they got a little coaching that made them even better last year. We saw Holloman kind of break out a little bit last year. And I think this year we're going to see Holloman really have a breakout season, along with Demetrius Robertson. Then you still got Karius Jackson, who didn't get to play much, and maybe Tyler Simmons coming in there. And then you got the two incoming freshmen, both 5 stars, George Pickens and Dominique Blaylock. And then grad transfer out of Miami, Lawrence Cager. Georgia got some talent at wide receiver.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent. Lawrence Cager's a big dude, veteran, been making plays, battled some injuries through a sophomore season at Miami. But I look for him to make an immediate impact. A lot of guys want to talk about George Pickens. I know you'll throw that name around. Rightfully so. But this guy's ready to play. He's ready to go plug in and play. I mean, take the place of a Terry Godwin. Take the place of a Riley Ridley. A real outside threat. I mean, you're talking about him and Jeremiah Holloman on each end of this offense. I mean, that's something dangerous. Now, as far as these other guys go, you got a Matt Landers and Tommy Bush. If anybody who watched the spring game, you can see that Matt Landers isn't ready. I mean, I don't know if he'll be ready. I don't know if maybe he's peaked. I don't know what the deal is, but if we could get him popping too and we could just rotate these guys out like nothing, then we're talking 40 points a game easy.
Yeah, you got to think the reason Kirby went for a Lawrence Cager might have been him seeing the development of a Tommy Bush and Matt Landers. Both of them are 6'5". Then you go get a Lawrence Cager who's 6'5", big frame. So maybe he's looking at, seeing where they're at. Because you got to think, if Matt Landers is playing where, they want him to be, would we go get a Lawrence Cager? Do we need a Lawrence Cager?
No, we wouldn't.
I don't know. That's the way I see it is we go get a Lawrence Cager because either Cortez Hankton or Kirby don't like the development of where Tommy Bush and Landers are right now. Now, Tommy Bush especially being I think he's a year younger than Matt Landers. They're going to be a little bit of a development. And maybe it just takes a little while for them to bloom. So I'm not saying we're going to throw the towel in on the guys, but for the 2019 season, they're not where they need to be. And Lawrence Cager's, got the experience, and he's in a money year. This is his draft coming up where Lawrence Cager got a chance to go make some money with a good year.
Yeah, well, them bringing Lawrence Cager in is a sign to me that Kirby's of the same mindset as the rest of us is. We got to win, and we got to win right now.
Yeah, ain't no more waiting around, developing. I mean, it's every year from here out with Kirby is a national championship season. It's got to be we're in the playoffs playing for a national championship. Everybody throws around the comparisons with Rick and Kirby because it's so similar. Well, Rick would go get a quarterback, then wouldn't recruit another quarterback for 3 seasons, and we'd always have that holdover guy, whether it be Hudson Mason, whether it be Joe Tarazinski III. And, that's not playing for a championship every year. That's hoping you play for a championship every 4 or 5 years, which we did 2002, 2007, 2012. You're looking at every 5 years Mark Ricknatus playing, in the contention for a title. With Kirby, it's going to be a every season thing, and Kirby knows that. because that's how he was involved in Alabama, where they build it for every season you're competing for a national championship. They went from Greg McElroy to A.J. McCarron, didn't miss a beat. So we're hoping to go from Jake Fromm, Carson Becker, Dwan Mathis, whoever gets that job, without missing a beat.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think we will miss a beat with either of those guys. I mean, obviously Carson Beck still got a senior year of high school to play, but I mean, what you've seen people say about this kid, he's a prodigy. And as far as Dwan Mathis goes, I mean, most of y'all seen spring game. Y'all see what he can do. Y'all seen him catch the touchdown pass. And by the way, prayers up for Dwan Mathis just getting that brain cyst removed. Pretty scary thing. Good to see that Kirby and staff hopped right on it. I seen that his parents were very happy that it was taken care of, considering that they're in Michigan a few thousand miles away or what have you.
Yeah, that's got to be a scary situation for the parents being so far away, and you get that, then it's got to be relieving knowing that, you know, the guys that promised you in the recruiting process, we're going to take care of your son, they, you know, follow through and take care of your son when he needs it the most. They see to it. And, you know, it's, you know, anytime you're going to deal with the brain, that's a scary situation. So, I mean, we're glad he's doing, you know, better now. But definitely a scary situation Friday when you hear UGA freshman quarterback has brain surgery.
Yeah, for sure. But back to wide receivers, though, Rick. Who do you think out of the guys who, you know, we know aren't going to be in that first rotation, who do you think is going to make the biggest impact out of them?
Kyrus Jackson. I think Jackson just being at wide receiver, and I think he might get a shot at the return game. It might be the punts. You know, James Cook, I think, is going to do kickoffs. But I think Jackson doing punt returns, and I think he's just that kind of guy, that little playmaker. Yeah. And he didn't get a chance last year, and so with this year he knows this is his opportunity. And I think Kyrus Jackson's who I'm looking for out. You know, we know what Holloman, and you know we're pretty sure we know what Demetrius Robertson's got. And it's easy to pick George Pickens or Dominic Blaylock, but I really think Kyrus Jackson is going to have that breakout season. And what started this whole conversation talking about Cortez Hankton is, you know, you watch the routes being ran last season, the improvement Terry Godwin had, and Miko Hardman, they ran real crisp, real nice routes. And I think that Jackson having his second season with Hankton's a guy, you know, he spent 4 or 5 years in the pros, played with Jacksonville, Minnesota, and Tampa. He was undrafted out of Texas Southern. So does he have the most talent in the world? No, but he knows how to stay in the league.
He knows how to work.
He knows how to work. He knows how to put in the effort. He knows how to teach these kids, you want to play in the league, this is what you need to do. You know, anybody go out there and just make these one-handed catches, and them are great. But what gets you to stay in the league is making them blocks. Run them routes right. You know, if you need 9 yards, you run that route 9 yards, don't cut it short. You got to run an out route and you make that tight. You know, you cut it real tight. Routes make a difference. These things make a difference. And I think last year we saw Holloman break out and had a lot to do with Cortez coming in on the coaching staff.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the just more development of Terry Godwin last year. I mean, the kid is crazy good, sharp routes. And also yards after catch, yards after contact was a huge deal with Terry Godwin. Going all the way back to 2017, but 2018, he just ramped it up another level. And I'm looking for the guy who's going to be able to do that. So, I mean, Kyrus Jackson probably could be that guy. Real shifty dude, solid hands, kind of small frame, but that's what Terry was too. I mean, you just want a guy who's just going to catch it and cut immediately upfield and fight for everything he can get.
You talked about a guy before we started recording when we were just throwing names out at each other. Tyler Simmons is that guy. He's shifty. He's fast. He's got breakaway speed. If he gets in the open field, he can take it to the house. And really, it's so deep. You know, it used to say it's easy to pick a 5-star and say that's who your breakout player is going to be. Well, hell, looking at our rotation, there's a lot of 5-stars in there. But also a lot of players, when you look at them, they get the ball in their hands, they get in space, fire at the band, that's it.
Tyler Simmons, I mean, you can put the ball in his hand any way you want. I mean, we've seen it last year. You can throw it to him. You can jet sweep it to him. You know, just get him to the boundary and watch him work. I mean, kid's lightning bolt.
Yeah, and he's gritty. You see him get in there. He's not the biggest kid on the team, not the biggest wide receiver, but he gets his nose in there and he throws them blocks. And, you know, that's admirable, and that's how you stay on the field. In recruiting, South Carolina gained the commitment of what a lot of people thought was going to be a Georgia commit, running back Marshawn Lloyd, he's from Delaware, playing high school ball in Maryland. Really don't see a big deal. I think it's a big win for South Carolina, but not surprised. Will Muschamp, we know he's a good recruiter, but when you look at the running back position, Brian McClendon being the offensive coordinator, we know what he can do recruiting. Look who he brought to Georgia. He went out of state, got Sony Michel, got Todd Gurley, got Keith Marshall. In state, he got Nick Chubb. So you're looking at a pretty damn good recruiter at the running back position. Thomas Brown, that's a big-time running back coach when he was at Georgia, Wisconsin, and Marshall coaching. So, you're not going to get everybody, and sometimes other teams are going to get you. South Carolina got that new facility, multi-million-dollar football facility. This is why, to be able to go get these recruits. And sometimes you just got to tip your cap at your competition and say, hey, South Carolina got a commitment from him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't peg this as a loss for Georgia at all. I mean, just about what you said, 5'9", 195. I mean, we obviously can tell that that's not the product that we've been putting on the field lately, and I don't think it's something that we really wanted to put on the field a whole lot. And with that being said, I mean, there was a lot of people on Facebook just all up in arms all over social media today, acting like it was a huge loss, and now we have to reel in Tank Bigsby or Kendall Milton, which obviously Kendall Milton is the top target, and a lot of people are saying he's trending towards being a dog, and I believe that. I think he will be a dog. But as far as Marshawn Lloyd goes, I mean, this is a guy who maybe he's kind of a guy who, when he's getting recruited, he wants to be the man, and he wants you to tell him that he's the man. And we weren't doing that. We're not going to feed him any lines. We're going to say, you got to get in here and work with all these other guys. You got a Zamir White next year who's going to be full beast mode. It's going to be his team. It's his backfield. But as far as the fans go, I mean, I think y'all should calm down a little bit. This isn't a huge loss, because later that day, just so happens that Zachary Evans, another top running back right along with Kendall Milton out of Houston, named his final five. And I think that's a guy that we're going for a little bit more. Guy's almost 6 foot, a little bit over 200 pounds. Kind of a faster guy, shiftier guy, stronger. And that's what we're looking for. A lot of people were upset saying that we're not building fences around the state and this or that, but that's not very important now. We don't have to build a fence around the state. We can build a fence around the country. We can go get whoever we want. We could go to California and pick Kendall Milton up. We can go to Texas and pick this guy up. We can go to Maryland out of that hotbed that's there right now and pick up a lot of guys we already have this year. So as far as losing this, I say to all the fellow Georgia fans, just take a deep breath. Just like Rick said a little bit earlier, we can't win them all, but we win the majority of them. We haven't lost many of them, to the point where recruiting is not even something that a lot of people keep up with, because it's become we win over and over again. We already know what's coming. So I'd like to say to Georgia fans to do the same thing and pump the brakes and just pivot your attention more towards the product that's about to be on the field right now.
Yeah, what I'm going to say about the people on Facebook and social media, and this is what I can't stand. When a kid commits to another school, then the fan base goes, well, he wasn't going to fit at Georgia. He wasn't going to play at Georgia. He ain't going to do nothing at South Carolina. Dude's a good player. I hope he does good at South Carolina. Obviously, I hope he don't do good against Georgia and beat us. But South Carolina don't have the horses there to beat Georgia. So them getting a Marshawn Lloyd is not going to strike fear in me, because I know our defensive line and our linebackers going to eat that offensive line up, and poor Marshawn Lloyd ain't going to have the running lanes. So I'm not too worried about him beating us. He's a good player. I'm not going to knock the kid just because he didn't sign with Georgia, and that really pisses me off when you get fans that do that. Oh, he's scared of competition. Oh, he ain't going to do nothing. He wouldn't have played anyway. Alabama fans used to do that crap, and we'd all talk about them. And now the same people that talk crap about Bama fans are doing it as Georgia fans, and I think it's childish and trash to do it. You don't trash a kid just because he didn't pick your school. Diamond Dawgs playing in Hoover over the weekend, lost in the semifinals to Ole Miss. Second year in a row, Ole Miss put us out. I think it was last year. I think it was Ole Miss put us out last year. I'm not really concerned too much about it. 2008, we were a game away from winning the national championship. You look at the SEC tournament that season, We was the 1 seed. We lost to Ole Miss in the first round. Went to the losers bracket. Played Alabama, lost the first round of the losers bracket. Went home. Next thing you know, we're going to Omaha playing for a national championship. And nobody remembers Hoover. For us, I think it sets us up good. Emerson Hancock's finger injury don't look that severe. He'll be able to pitch in the regional. Him and Losi get us through the regional, get us to the super regional, and hopefully we could ride them 2 horses through the super regional and we can be going back to Omaha playing for a national championship. Regional starts this weekend. As the 4 seed, we get FSU, Mercer, and Florida Atlantic. Georgia starts play. First pitch at 7 o'clock Friday night. Need everybody in that area. Anybody wants to go watch a good baseball game, go to Foley Field and check them out. They're going to need all the fan support. They've been a pretty dominant team at home this season, so I'd like to see it keep rolling through regionals into next weekend and, be able to watch us in the College World Series in a few weeks. Well, that's all the time we got this week. We're going to hit that social media, Twitter, @nothingfinerpod, Facebook.com/nothingfinerpod.
And y'all, if y'all are listening to this on YouTube now, or if y'all are checking it out on the website, y'all make sure y'all go to YouTube, Nothing Finer Pod, and like and subscribe, support the movement. We're trying to get a little bit more positive movement on YouTube, get some traction going. And also, don't forget to check out nothingfinerpod.com.
nothingfinerpod.com and youtube.com/nothingfinerpod. Like, subscribe, hit that thumb, and hit that subscribe button. We need it, baby.
Yes, sir. We need it. We're going to keep coming with it every week.
Austin, got anything else you want to add?
Not much. Just interesting stuff at spring meetings today. Just getting ready for media day, getting ready to see them pads get put back on, man. I can't stress it enough. I'm getting real anxious.
Yeah, we're inside 100 days, man. I'm telling you, this is where it cranks up. Days start, these long summer days, but, man, they go by quick waiting on football season.
Yes, sir, they do. Go Dogs, everybody.
All right. Well, I ain't got nothing else. Don't forget YouTube, subscribe, like, and go Dogs.
Well, I guess if this thing comes up short, he can field it and run it out. All right, here we go. 56-yarder. Does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.